I'm a little happy guy because I'm part of the beta team for Collageshader. And because I'm so happy about this shader, I want to show you a use case where I place a horizon of trees on my scene. So maybe you know the situation, you have a scene and you want the horizon to fade out, or you want to place something there so there's not this infinite line. So in many cases you can use trees because actually in the world there are many trees, and why not use them? So in my case I want to use trees, and the collage shader is really cool for this because you just need to use one bitmap and it will get placed randomly, and you can change options to distribute them. And I will just show you this. So I add a cylinder to my scene and make it really big. And I don't need my caps, I just need the side of the cylinder. And this will be the geometry where I project the trees on. So also I don't need the whole ring, I just need a part of this because I just look in one direction. So now this will be the geometry, and I will create a shader, and in the color channel I will add the collage shader. And it's black because I didn't add something to it. So what I want to do is I want to add a bitmap. So I add a tree, and this bitmap got a alpha, so that's important. And now as you can see they get distributed randomly, but I can change this a bit. So I set the rotations to 0, and I will increase the count. Let's update this. So you see now they are lined straight, and for now I will deactivate the depth effect. I will show this later. Now they are distributed without rotation but randomly, and I will just increase this count to 150, and let's see what that looks like. It looks like crap because the trees are distorted, and that's because it uses the UV coordinates of the cylinder and projects this canvas to the whole area. So I need to change this in the shaders. I go to canvas, and here you can find aspect. So if I increase the aspect, you can see the trees are not distorted anymore. Maybe even more because my tree is quite a thin tree. So let's try 25 about this. Okay, now I go to my size and I set the min scale to 50 and the max scale to 70. And now of course I don't want the trees to fly in the air, I want them to stand on the ground. So for this I will use this distribution mask. So I add a gradient, set it to V and invert this, so I get only a white mask on the bottom. So now the count is less because I need to increase it now. So let's do like 10 times this. And you can see now the instances of the tree are only placed on the bottom. Now they are cut off because the center of the image is calculated for the distribution. So I can go to axis here, and this will open a axis dialog where I can change the axis to the bottom of the bitmap. So now the trees are actually aligned to the floor. Now, a cool thing about this shader is if you copy it to the alpha channel, and I will copy it as a smart link, which is another plugin of tools4d.com, and this will make a reference of the color shader, and it will read out the alpha from the Collageshader. So now I get a clean alpha. So that's great. Now I just want to increase the count. And I want this to be a bit more into the floor so it doesn't produce any floating trees. And now I see this is quite nice, but I want more variation. So I can go to the shader and set the mirror hue. So this will mirror the instances randomly. So this will produce more variation. And also I want now to introduce depth effects. So I can activate the darken. And because the Collageshader is actually not only a 2D shader, it's a 3D shader which aligns the instances in depth. So you can darken the trees that are more behind, and only the front trees are really light. So if I increase this now and render this, you can see I get more depth because the trees are getting darkened. I can adjust this gradient so I get the result I want. So very dark trees and very light trees, but I want more light trees, so I make this gradient more like this. So now I get more light trees and fewer dark trees in the back. Okay, what else can I do? If I'm not so happy about this result because it's too equal. I want even more variations. So then I can go into the shaders and add a shader. And now I can just either drop this image here, or I can go and, let's say, add another tree. Let's look at this. Of course, I need to align this also on the bottom. And now we have two different kind of trees. Maybe the depth effect is too much now. Okay. Also, I want the trees to be a little bit rotated, so I get 1 degree of rotation. So this will make the trees a bit more random. Yeah, so now I'm quite happy. And the only thing I want to add to this is, if you look at the border of this shader, here on the edge of this object, you will have a cut. And I don't want this because I want to be able to use many planes with this shader and align them, so I also see the end of this plane. So what I can do in the distribution, I add a layer shader, and I add another gradient, and this will stay in hue. And now I will cut off the edges of this gradient. So I make this edges black, and now I set this to multiply. So this is my resulting shader, and this will now align the instances so they don't touch the side of the plane. So now I don't get cutoffs here. So yeah, that's the basics of the Collageshader, and I hope you find this usage very useful, and get the Collageshader soon at tools4d.com. Bye bye.